You may be saying, okay, tell me how to fix this already. I'm ready. I have one more thing to talk to you about before we dig into the nuts and bolts. And this is what I call the floofy stuff. So, when you were born, you left a really nice place. As a baby, you left a womb that was warm and perfect, and you were fed. You didn't have a care in the world. You were safe. You were tucked in nice and tightly. And then when you were born, all of a sudden you were free and your arms and your legs flapped around and it was cold. And all of a sudden you felt hunger and you felt need and you felt lack. And you became aware to a degree, of course, as a tiny baby, that life was scary. You were vulnerable. That human condition that we all have doesn't ever go away because as humans, our bodies are vulnerable. If we don't eat or drink, we die. If we fall from a really high building, we die. We have to stand upright. We have to protect our head. We have to protect our life. We have to work and have food and clothing. So we're vulnerable in our bodies. So we feel a sense of lack in our bodies. What happens somewhere along the way is we connect with who we are and we start to have self-esteem, self-respect. We start to notice the goodness in ourselves. But life often has so many physical lessons in our body that prove to us that there's things to be afraid of, vulnerable, we get hurt, we get sad. Over time, it's very easy to forget about the greatness in you or sadly never see it. Also, you may have adults in your life, in your childhood, that have told you that you're less than, that have told you that you're not good enough. You may have relatives in your childhood that told you were fat and ugly and you were never going to be worth anything. And what child would have a hard time not believing that? All of them. It's really easy to believe what we're told, but it's really important for everything that we're going to talk about in this program for you to remember this. There's greatness inside of you. And your heart and your soul determines every good thing that you have. Everything that you've persisted to achieve in your life, you've done regardless of how scared you were or how vulnerable you felt. When you got back on that bike to try and try again, you knew you might fall. But your spirit, your soul, the greatness in you persisted. When you got a degree, when you met someone and decided to fall in love, whatever you have accomplished in your life, it's because of who you are and the greatness inside of you. Everything that you've quote unquote failed at and felt scared of and vulnerable to is because you were in a moment where you didn't remember your greatness. And when it comes to food, it might sound silly to connect these things, but I'm telling you, you can stand in front of any bowl of inanimate objects called food and use your greatness to make a choice that's different than the choice you've ever made before. It's how it's done. Your greatness is limitless, and it's gotten you everything that you want, and it can get you free in this area too. So of course you're going to have emotions, you're going to feel lack, you're going to feel sad, you're going to feel hurt. Life is going to bring you things that are tough, and your body and your mind, your physical mind, your physical body are going to feel vulnerable and want to cope and are going to want safety and comfort. And logically, you know, there's no safety and comfort in food. But you've grabbed it so many times, it's compulsive. It's a habit. But if you can interfere and remind yourself that I am whole and complete, and there's greatness in me, and my body might feel a certain way, but I don't have to respond the way I used to anymore. So I'm going to encourage you throughout this course to grab your greatness, to remember your greatness, to stop and remind yourself, even when it's so hard and your body is screaming out to grab the thing and put it in your mouth because it's what you've always done, you can stop and you can start what you always will do in the future, which is to harness your greatness for this too, just like you've already done in all of the other great areas of your life to achieve everything you already have.